My name's Exzavier Whitley. I am a CEO of One Throne Productions LLC, which is also a radio company and clothing line. And I also am a musician and singer. So that's what I do for a living. That's me.
Well, thank you so much, sir. I appreciate that run back. Uh, and today, well, I'll talk a little bit about, for instance, according to the Centers for Disease Control, mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make healthy choices. Mental health is important at every stage of our life, from childhood and adolescence through adulthood. Um, and with that being said, we're going to run through a quiz, and I hope you're ready for this. We're going to run through.
Let's go.
Oh, okay, you got it. Okay,
Mhm.
and it's just a few questions, maybe 10 questions to go through to see what your answers are. I know I'm putting you in the spot.
Mhm.
So, number
Right in the spot.
one. All right, here we go. Poor mental health increases the risk for long lasting chronic physical conditions like heart disease, stroke, cancer, or all of the above. I guess I should have been clear. What choices would you pick? Heart disease, stroke, cancer, or all of the above?
I would say all of the above.
And why would you say that?
Um, just from not eating, not sleeping well, all types of stuff can have, a lot of factors on your health. So, having mental health problems can lead to certain stuff like that, and I would definitely believe that would be a thing.
And the answer, you are right. Poor mental health increases the risk for long lasting chronic physical conditions like heart disease, stroke, and cancer. And when we say chronic, that's a repetitive thing that you have to deal with on a daily basis. So the second quiz question is: mental illnesses are A, very common, B, not very common, or C, fairly common?
I would say C, fairly common.
And why would you choose C?
Um, just from looking at a lot of just everyday life and just watching people, you can tell by their facial expressions, by the way that they move, what they message, all the types of things can give indicators of stress or depression. So for me, everything else falls in behind that. So you know I feel like it happens a lot to a lot of
Mhm.
people.
So,
So it contributes to a lot of the negativity to this world. It can happen.
mm, so do you think it's very common or fairly common?
Fairly common.
Okay. Well, according to Centers for Disease Control, they say it's very common. About 1 in 5 US adults will experience a mental health illness at some point in their lives. But yeah, when I looked at the answers, I'm like, well, fairly and very are kind of related, but I guess we can bring out the dictionary, right?
Yeah,
And
we're not
just
going to
say
do all the whole dictionary thing today. No, no, no. We good.
it's all no. I would have chosen fairly as well, is what I'm saying. I would have agreed with you.
Right.
Okay. The third quiz question is: suicide is the blank leading cause of death among people ages 10 to 24 in the United States. Is it the 24th leading cause, the 10th leading cause, The 40th leading cause or the second leading cause?
I would say 10th.
10th. Okay. And why would you choose 10th?
Um, I would say because a lot of it would be more like actual health issues and just events, just untimely events that I would see that happening more than suicide, in my opinion. But I definitely believe it's among the worst. So I would say about 10.
Okay. I thought so, the same answer too. But according to Centers for Disease Control, they say suicide is the second leading cause of death among people ages 10 to 24 in the United States. I know. I was like, wow. And
Is this according to this year?
I believe so. I have to look at let me
Yeah,
see.
that's crazy.
Yeah, I think it is because they always update I'm looking at yep. Last reviewed April 28, 2023. And you could go to cdc.gov mental health, excuse me, slash mental health, and then you'll find the answer there too. But yeah, that was appalling to me. I think car accidents is still number one, what's it called, smoking or something. But anyway, it says that it's the second leading cause.
Wow.
Okay, so moving on to number 4 here. Let's see here. Number 4, mental illness can or cannot be treated. Do you think it can or cannot be treated?
Um, I don't think it can be treated. I think it can be contained.
Hmm.
It can be suppressed, but I don't think it'll ever. Once it's there, it's there.
Hmm. Yeah, it's
In
kind
my
of like
opinion.
yeah, it's kind of like I thought the same thing too. You have to have coping mechanisms, right, to deal
Right.
with.
I mean, yeah, like you can use certain things to help you, but I mean, like once life has that plateau, you're gonna be feeling depressed no matter what. So I feel like it doesn't go away, but you can manage it.
Mm. I thought the same thing too. According to CDC, they said mental illness can be treated. Research shows that people with mental illness can get better and may recover completely. So we probably need to
Mm.
dive into that later, more into depth. According
Oh
to
yeah.
the statistics, yeah, I'll be interested in finding out. Today's just a preliminary discussion because I know we're going to have more of these sessions. Uh,
Oh yeah,
so,
definitely.
number 5, mental health is more than the absence of mental disorders, or only important for some people, or an important part overall health and well-being.
The last answer, the important overall health.
You are correct. So mental health is an important part overall health and well-being.
Yeah.
Okay, number 6. If you know someone with poor mental health, you can help by A, reaching out and letting them know help is available, B, helping them access mental health services, C, learning and sharing facts about mental health, especially if you hear something that isn't true, or all of the above.
That's a good one. I'd almost say all of the above, just because if you don't tell anybody anything, and you know something, then you're part of the problem because you're not helping them, but you're gatekeeping information from them.
Mm,
So I would say, yeah, I would say all of the above.
yes, you
I
are
mean,
right.
but then you have the flip side, yeah. But then you have the flip side where, you know, you could reach out and can actually help somebody just by saying, hey, go over here, or hey, come do this with me instead of hanging over here, or you know what I mean, or
Yeah,
whatever the case is. So yeah, it's two sides of the coin.
that is true. It is a double-edged sword and also catch 22 because, like, it could be detrimental to your friendship. I mean, it
Oh
depends
yeah,
on the situation. Like, hey, you're not my dad, or you're not my, why are you telling me what to do
pretty
type
much.
of thing, right?
Oh yeah, pretty much. That's how it
Yeah.
goes.
So, number 7, people with mental illness are violent. True or false?
False. It could just be severe depression or feeling bad for themselves. Doesn't have to mean it resorts to violence. It can, but I don't think it's on a big scale like that. It's mostly about how you feel, but not what you exert.
Mm, yeah. So the answer is false. The vast majority of people with mental illness are no more likely to be violent than anyone else. In fact, people with mental illnesses are more likely to be victims of violent crime than the general population,
Hmm.
which is, yeah, I
Yeah,
would I would agree with that.
yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. Like this world's different.
Yeah. So
It's different.
half of the mental illnesses occur before a person turns blank years old. 10 years old, 14 years old, or 18 years old.
I would say 10.
I thought the same thing too. It looks like half of all mental illness occurs before a person turns 14 years old,
Hmm.
and 3/4 of mental illness begins before age 24.
Hmm.
That's very
And that's kind of
intriguing.
crazy. You gotta grow up a little bit to realize you got some problems. Dang,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
So, and of course, this is, CDC's reporting, but you have to take an account that a lot of things are unreported, right? And so we're
Oh yeah.
having issues with like underreporting for the such cases. Number 9, serious mental illness costs America how much in lost earnings per year? A, 193.2 billion, B, 20 million, C, 400 billion, or D, 1 billion per year.
I would say D.
Okay, you would say D, 1 billion per year?
Hmm.
Okay. It looks like serious mental illness costs America 193.2 billion in lost earnings per year.
I bet.
That is, I looked at the numbers and I said, oh my gosh, 193.2
Right.
billion.
And then people still ain't getting helped. Things still go on. So it's like sometimes I don't see how some of it can work as far as the money being spent. It could help some people, but I'd be like, well, things still go on no matter what type of treatment. Sometimes it doesn't work for everybody. So,
No.
it's just like you're spending that much a year and, you know, people are getting shot up and all types of stuff still going on. Like
Yeah.
it's interesting to me.
Yeah.
It's different.
What And what we're going to come back on this subject because I want to pick your brain about it a little bit more. And number 10, mental illness is caused by A, personal weakness, B, lack of willpower, or C, a number of factors, including biological factors, stressful or traumatic life events, and long lasting health conditions such as heart disease or cancer.
I would say the last answer.
You are correct. Mental illness is caused by a number of factors, including biological factors such as stressful or traumatic life events and long lasting health conditions such as heart disease or cancer. Going back to number 9, from what you said, right? Because they're saying here that America lost earnings per year was 193.2 billion, and you said that it's perhaps because people get treatment, but they don't. It doesn't work, right?
Not for every case, no.
Could you
Um,
give an example, or yeah?
well, I mean, for a lot of the stuff that happens with the school shootings, those people that commit those have past flags and mental health issues. Some of them have sought treatment, but get their hands on an AR-15 somehow
Mm.
and decide to make the choice they make with it. So, what does any of that therapy or anything like that help somebody who's truly struggling at it? It's like, like it works for the people who seek it and who want it.
Mm.
For the people who don't want it and don't seek it, it's not there.
That's so
So,
true.
I mean, it's kind of sad to see like, and these are good people too. It's not like their whole life could be bad. Like, everybody has a little ounce of good in them. So it's just not accepting the help, not wanting the help, and then continuing on. So it's not for everyone, but that's kind of why I say that.
Yeah, I think that's my opinion, but I think that involvement, right, with your children is key because the thing about it is when you're and it's unfortunate because we're in a life where you have two, three, four, 10 jobs. The parents are so busy in going to their workplace that it's maybe difficult to make sure they stay in touch with the child, right? Make sure that
Oh yeah.
they're taking care of, their mental health is taken care of, and their needs and their desires, or um, it could be things, it could be domestic violence, it could be anything going on in the household that might cause a child to lash out, or this is how I'm going to get my attention, right? So
Right.
it could be various things, but I definitely think that it all starts with home. It all starts with, you know, hey, how are you doing? Like the basic fundamentals when you see your coworker, when you see a person in the grocery store, you never know. You just never know the hello, how are you doing? Or like a joke or something. Something
Right.
a greeting can really make a difference in a person's world, right? It, and it could just like click, right? Maybe the person's going through a really rough day and they're thinking about, like ending their life or God forbid, or whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
But because you said a hello, right? Some type of gesture that automatically help the person not think about doing it. So
Right.
we're all in this planet like this is what I don't understand. We're all on this planet, right? And we have to live not in close proximity, but within this bubble, right? And
Right.
I feel like maybe multiple lives could have been saved just because you said a hello, or just because you put your ego aside and for let bygones be bygones, right? Oh, bless you.
Right.
Or something of that sort. Bless you. So
Thank you.
that's just my personal take, and maybe because um I'm a bubbly person. I'm extrovert, and I just like to. There's yesterday. Was it yesterday or the other day? I went to the grocery store
Hmm.
and I had to get some distilled water, right? And I saw this lady come in. She had some scrubs on. Like literally, she had a scrub. I think she had her head, whatever, hair net thing, and her mask. So anyway, she was like, yeah, I was being being patient, just waiting to get
Hmm.
like a few gallons, and she was just like 1, 2, 10. She got up to 10. I'm like, I said, really? I
Sounds
said,
like she just came out the hospital. She just
yeah,
ran.
I was,
Yeah,
I was,
she
I
just
was,
ran out of there.
I was being funny, right? I said, I said, oh shoot, excuse me, let me just go ahead and get at least 2 gallons before it's all gone. And
Yeah, I'm like,
I
you better
started
stock up
laughing.
now.
I
Yeah,
started laughing. She was like, oh, she was startled, and then she started laughing. I was like, girl, you about to take out the
yeah,
whole aisle. And she was like, oh
yeah.
my gosh. She started cracking up, like, oh yeah, you know what? You're right. I need to be nice and leave some for the other people.
Right. I'm like, look, don't L everything. You gotta relax a little bit. Like, you ain't gotta buy the whole stove up.
It was so funny. So she was like, oh, thanks for reminding me or whatever. She was cracking. We were both cracking up. So as she walked away, right? So
Yeah.
as she walked away, um, I was like, she pushed the cart, and I was getting my 2 other gallons, and I said, oh, I was like, hey, I yelled at her. I was like, hey, by the way, please save me one turkey, okay? Because I'm gonna need
Yeah,
at least one butterball
yeah.
turkey.
At least one of them in there, please. Please, just one.
She started
I
cracking
felt
up.
that.
She was
Yeah,
like,
I felt that.
cracking up. She was like, okay. Anyway,
Yeah,
I thought that was hilarious. But going back to just the gesture of saying hello, um,
yeah,
because not everybody's out to get you. Not everybody is. You know what I mean? There's some good people out here. There's some people that don't they. I don't know. I think we've been so. What is the word? I'm gonna make this word up. Hermetized. I
hmm.
just made up a word. Um, that we
That's
lose
nice.
that we lose the sense of communicating and having that social piece, right? So
Right.
yeah, and but I wanted to point out three different things, right? From what I've researched. It said
Mhm.
I was intrigued on these questions. So the first one is, what is the hardest mental illness to live with? And come to find out, it's borderline personality disorder. Um,
Mm.
Borderline personality disorder is one of the most painful mental illness, since individuals struggling with this disorder are constantly trying to cope with volatile and overwhelming emotions.
Wow.
And so another thing is, what are the seven mental disorders? Can you name like a few maybe that you think?
Um, Anxiety, insomnia, depression. Um,
Oh,
yeah, just a few right there that I can think of.
yeah. Yeah, you're right. Like
Yeah, some
anxiety
stuff like that.
disorders. Yeah,
Yeah.
anxiety disorder, depression, bipolar disorder, post
Right.
traumatic stress disorder, PTSD,
Hmm.
schizophrenia, eating disorders, disruptive behavior and dissocial disorders, and
Hmm.
neurodevelopmental disorders. And it
Right.
says here that many people also experience the stigma and discrimination and violations of human rights just because of mental disorder. And I think that it's really interesting to me, right? Coming from like a
Hmm.
public health perspective, where we want to help people with mental health, right? So, hey, let's go get therapy. Let's do this and that and the other. But if you put it on your record, it says, "Oh wow, she has this or he has this. We're not going to hire her or him because of these disorders."
Right. And that's discriminatory right there.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's unfortunate that people go through that. You know, for
Yeah.
like for like if you wanted to say security or be a law enforcement person or whatever you have classified information that you're dealing with. Um, it's really a stigma. Let me tell you something. I don't have the statistics on it, but I do believe this is my personal opinion that people
Mhm.
don't confront their disorders and don't notate it to any physician because it's going to be reported and then it's going to affect the job. You know, so that's
Right.
just my personal opinion on that. And
Um. Yeah. No. I really agree. Um. And it's just like it's a way to gatekeep in a way good people. Potentially some of the best people on earth won't get certain opportunities because of this going on or this disability or something like that. And, um, you're right. Like military, I think is honestly one of the biggest that people want to get into and just can't because their foot isn't set up right or hey you got this disability and so it just I don't know like it creates more of a divide than we already have. So I feel like it
yeah.
definitely ties into that.
Yes, definitely. And of course, other I guess I can kind of understand with the like asthma. I guess one of the um, you know, physical perspective is asthma that hinders a person from joining the military. The last one I wanted
Right.
to talk about is when should you walk away from someone with mental illness in regards to relationships, right? And it's
Hmm.
and the answer it said if the relationship becomes too emotionally draining and affects your own mental health negatively, or if there is no pattern of toxic behavior that doesn't improve despite attempts to help, it may be time to consider
Hmm.
walking away. What are your thoughts on when should you walk away with someone, from someone with mental illness in a relationship?
um like when fighting start when you've done everything you can to give them avenues and help them get better. I feel like that's one of the ways that like if it's not working with that then you just can't help them, so that's just what it is. So I feel like when you've tried every avenue, when you've done everything you can, um yeah, there's no other options. I mean, it's better for you to make sure that you're happy and that you good before
Mhm.
making sure that anybody else is good. So especially if you already tried. That's all you can do. Ooh, shoot.
Yeah.
He tried to
Oh,
get me.
you okay?
Yeah, Wasp tried to hit me right now. I'm
Oh,
gonna do it.
oh no. Oh,
That
be
was perfect.
careful.
That was
Okay.
perfect.
Yeah.
That was the perfect dodge. Did you not just
Yeah. Are we like we need to do a video like you're playing a song. You should sing a cappella now. No, looks like a rap video or song video,
Oh
music
yeah,
video.
you know what I mean? Just kind of,
Do a
blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I could make something happen.
wasp
Mhm.
cipher. Um, so I
He was just
I
trying to
was
rap.
right. I was
I felt
gonna
your pain, man. I felt your pain. I know you was trying to rap. It's all good.
I was gonna ask you, uh, being in the music industry, and I'm sure that you see a lot of mental health, illnesses out here
Hmm.
on a daily. What are your opinions on that, and what have you experienced with mental illness
Um,
and dealing with people in the music industry?
I see honestly a lot of drug use. Which everybody has their own thing. You can't judge nobody. You know, it is what it is. But for some people, we've lost a lot of good people. Pimp C, Excess Tentacion. I don't want to name no list, but it goes on, and it goes to show, not even the fame or the money really matters. It's about how you mentally feel. So I feel like they didn't get the help because of the situation and position they were put in.
Mm,
So because of the fame, you have to move around so much. You have to do so much. Um, you know, you got to cope somehow. Plus, a lot of these people's coming from the street, so that too, the PTSD and stuff follows, and it's just I feel like it resonates in their music and in the videos.
mm,
They'll show you and they'll tell you. YK Osiris, um, he's got he's got a couple of tracks, and he talks about his depression and a lot of that. And it's just like I don't see what you depressed for. You got everything you want now. You good, but I mean, that just goes to show that stuff doesn't matter. That material doesn't matter. That how you feel, and the people around you, the people you have around you is what matters. Not the
mm,
money, not the recognition or anything like that. That comes with it. You can be prideful about it, but it's about just living and having a
mm.
life. And so I feel like that's what it is all the time.
What
Gotta
do you
live.
think? What do you think the music industry should do, or to help mitigate that, or to help our music artists out here?
Um, for one, I would get rid of the standard of just having to have negativity in the raps all the time. I mean, you can show the life that you live or that you have lived. I get the authenticity part, but also you got to remember too that people's going through stuff every day, every
Mhm,
night. And so instead of just talking about certain things, you know, encourage the artist to change up the genre, do something
mhm,
different instead of just doing the same genre. Hey, let's try doing some Caribbean or some reggae or some blues or something different.
mhm,
Instead of just pushing them to just rap all the time or just do this all the time. Be versatile. You
mhm,
know, actually put different things. Hey, since I'm always on drill beats all day, why don't I try to make an R&B track? You know what I mean, and give something a different perspective instead of just letting the labels, keep running you around on these songs.
mhm.
Try to get some actual meaning first. So I think that's one way that the record labels could help these artists is um, letting them be more creative,
Mhm.
um, showing more creativity on what you can do can open somebody's mind to an unprecedented level. Like, you never know. you might mess around and might sing something, and you've been rapping all your life, and you could sit there and sing something, and it could be, one of the hottest out here,
Mhm.
just from that. So, um, I think versatility is one big factor.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I totally agree because then that makes your uniqueness come out, right? Your creativity.
yeah.
I mean, obviously that's why you're singing or that's why you're rapping, to show your talent. And with that being said,
You
uh,
showcase it in all form.
yeah, with that being said,
Yeah.
from my understanding, right, some like a substance would have to be used to help with anxiety, or depression or etc. in order to get the creative juices flowing. Do you think that because of using a substance that would help, whether it's
Mhm.
MJ or whether it's I don't know, a drink to calm the nerves or something like that? Do you think a substance has to be used in order to promote your talent?
No, my guy Montana 300 from Chicago, he's made it, and he doesn't smoke or drink at all. Um, so I think it's somewhat mental. For some people, it just works. You got to have a little giddy up. You got to have a little something to get you away or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just how much of it you use and how well you use it throughout the day. If you
Mm,
can be conscious enough to pay attention, you know what I mean? But for some people, they don't need it, and it's been successful. So, like I said, and Montana 300 is one of the greatest examples I could see that's rapping, comes out of Chicago and doesn't even smoke or drink.
mm,
So and you would look at him, you could think he would do it, but that's just not him. He just doesn't, and it's worked. I mean, it's allowed him to pretty much be one of the best rappers of all time because of that.
mm,
So for some it could work, for some it doesn't. It's just
mm.
personal use and experience.
Yeah. I yeah, I totally agree. I think there's other methodologies, like meditation, affirmation,
Hmm.
things that could help with your spiritual development. I think that encompasses a lot of a lot of meditation and breathing. What
Oh yeah.
maybe we could figure out what he does, right? What Montana 3000 does, or what's his usual routine, like.
Um,
wh-
I mean, I know him a little bit. For him, it's just staying focused, reading a lot, stuff like that. So, I mean, I respect it. I definitely respect it. It's just like one of those things where, for me, uh, I need a little something for me at the end of the day to help me relax. For him, it's basketball, going to do sports, hanging with his kids, taking care of his kids, being around his brothers and family.
Mhm.
So it's just for him. It's just a different focus. So
And
I think that's what it is.
what's one or two things maybe that you can recommend for people to do, being a musician, right? Being a
Mhm.
music artist or rap artist, or basically in the music industry. What would you recommend to our music artists to do to help them through the depression, anxiety, and just mental health issues?
Um, One thing I would say is, to always stay focused on the goal, stay focused on the craft as much as you can. Things, life happens, stuff gets hard, but just know where you're headed and know, like, if you keep going, something might pop one day. So, you know, just keep working. Also, write. read a lot, and seek a lot of information. Um, whether that's going on Google, looking at politics or whatever thing is, it doesn't matter. But always be a sponge of knowledge.
Mm.
So you can soak up anything around you and always learn. So I'm like, actually get up and take that time to do it,
Mm.
and it'll help.
And what does your typical routine look like?
Um, honestly, I just sit back and have me a blunt. You know what I mean? I gotta. It is what it is. But it's about it for me. Or work on some music. Uh, try to sit there on the internet and read like certain articles and stuff that's going on around the world.
Uh-huh.
Um, it takes my mind off. Sometimes video games. I play a little bit of video games here and there, so it
What
helps me
what
feel a little better.
what kind of video games?
I'm into the military mil sims. So
Oh,
Arma 3, Operation Flashpoint. Um, what is the other one? Call of Duty, stuff like that. Grand Theft Auto. The
okay.
classics. Gotta have the classics in there. Halo. Gotta have
Oh,
the classics. Um, but yeah, that takes my mind off of things. So if I'm having a bad day or whatever, I can kind of hone into that a little bit and just relax, have a peace of
okay.
mind.
And what was the last book you've read?
Um, this was probably like, I don't know, like 12 years ago. I ain't gonna lie. Um, it was the Graveyard Book. I forgot
Oh,
who it was by, and I forgot what it was about, but it was called the Graveyard Book. That's the last one
huh.
I read.
I need to go check that one out.
Yeah, from what I know, it's pretty popular. So you know,
Oh, okay. I'm gonna put it on my Audible or see if it's available there.
yeah, check out
I
the
just
Graveyard Book.
Yeah, graveyard book, you guys. Okay. I actually got the book for Nipsey Hussle, so I'm reading that right now. The marathon seems
Rest
to be
peace, Nipsey.
yes,
Hmm.
seems to be a very interesting book. But with that being said, is there anything else that you would like to talk about or tell our audience on mental health?
Um, for me, I actually struggle with mental health, and I've struggled a lot. I've been in places people shouldn't ever have to go because of that. But um, it's always just about finding something else to do with your time and hone in with something else. Um, I have PTSD myself. I have bipolar, and uh, I've used pills and I've done treatments and stuff. And for me, I just try to work on myself without having to use anything else to, you know, make it seem like it's going to make me feel better. Even though it works for some people, it might not work for everybody. But I've dealt with it. I go through it, and it's a hard life. It's hard out here. It's not easy, but
Oop.
there. So you know, always keep it positive and keep going because we're gonna get somewhere.
Yes, most definitely.
So that's what it is. It's always staying positive. The best you can. Things make you upset throughout the day. Stuff happens. You're gonna get upset. You're gonna feel bad. But it's just like, hey, stop hanging around what you hanging around and figure out what it is and feel better. So,
Yes, definitely. Self
so I
reflection.
struggled with it too. I've struggled with it too. So I already know.
Yeah, I think we all do. I think even talking with someone third party, like you said, a therapist or a counselor, they usually are better folks to talk with, because one they studied it. Oh, they probably even experienced it. you know,
Oh
and
yeah.
most definitely. Well,
Oh,
uh, well, with that being said, I really appreciate you, hold tight, sir, for joining me tonight and discussing mental health awareness. And this, we will continue another session to go more in depth with it. And
definitely.
be sure to subscribe, like, and comment to view all the episodes here at In the Know 360 on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And make sure you follow Mr. Exzavier Whitley on his platforms. Um, any other platforms that, besides Instagram, that you usually are on?
Um, I'm not on Facebook too much, but I do have a fan page, a verified fan page. So, it's actually just my first name, Xavier, and if you type it in, it'll show up. And also, I have Twitter. I have two Twitters. I have one for One Throne Productions LLC, and I have one for me.
Mhm.
And there's also Snapchat, Reddit, Discord, and they're all my first and last name. So, it's all connected. I'm on all
Won-
platforms.
Wonderful. So make sure you tap in and follow him as well. And let's continue to support the Unity for Social Justice and Free Master Yo and others that need support. This has been a
Pretty monster.
broadcast. That's right, Free Master Yo. This has been a broadcast of showing love full circle between In the Know 360 and Mr. Exzavier Whitley.